Way too early 2026 NFL Draft Edge Rankings. My name is Matt Hicks, and I'm here again, reunited with Zach Patraw. Zach, we're going to be talking a whole lot of NFL Draft leading up to this April on the channel. I'm excited about it. If you're not familiar with Zach, he is at Prep Draft Pro. Zach has experience NFL scouting, college scouting, high school scouting, a wealth of knowledge, all positions. You guys know I focus on fantasy, but we're expanding it. We're talking draft. And Zach, you requested, we're starting with the edge position. What makes that the starting spot for this 2026 class?
First off, you said way too early. We got Shrine Bowl invites coming out, so it's the perfect time to start talking about the edge class. There's just a lot of different types of edge rushers in this class that are going to be really good. You know, you got your even front DNs, you got your odd front outside linebackers, odd front DNs too. So there's a lot of different variations of edge rushers in this class that, you know, it's pick your poison. Who do you like and who fits the scheme? And they got someone in this class for you.
All right. Well, before we get into our tiers here, I want to make sure folks know Prep Draft Pro is a Substack that Zach runs. The link to his full Edge Rankings article, it just dropped earlier this week. So the link is going to be in the episode description. You can head on over there. And of course, if you want to get the rookie big board resources that we're talking about, 365, including some more holistic draft coverage now this year, that link will also be in the episode description. But Zach, we're going to go tiers here. We have 5 tiers broken out. Day 1 locks, possible day 1 guys. Day 2 guys with good potential, could get up to day 1. You like them, you don't love them, and some sleepers here. 28 guys in total. But we're going to start with this middle tier, this day 2 good potential. And the first guy I know you have on here, he came into the season with a whole lot of hype. That's Matayo Uiagailelei. Where do you have him at this point in the process?
Yeah, he's, right there. He could be a day 1 guy. He was a day 1 guy for me coming into the year during the preseason scouting. I like him a lot. There's a lot of good potential there, but he just hasn't really made that next step for me this year. I think there's a lot of potential in his game, and I think he's a very good prospect. If you go check out my edge rankings, he's right around that 10 range. I think he came in around 2. He's a big guy, kind of a tweener. Where do you want to put him? Do you want to put him as a 43 DN? Do you want to put him as a 34 DN? What do you want to do with him? I guess it's just a matter of what team likes him and how high they value what they need for an edge rusher. He does a lot of good things very well, but he there's the problem with him that I've seen is missed tackles. Like that's a big thing. You need to tackle if you're a DN. So he's dropped down my rankings so far this year, but definitely still potential to be a day 1. But right now he's going to be sitting around that early to mid day 2.
All right, up here we have Joshua Josephs out of my University of Tennessee. Josephs with 5 sacks on the season, 19 hurries, so he's getting into the backfield, 17 stops per PFF. So he's causing some havoc. He has that disruption potential at the next level.
He's a very good pass rusher. I like him in that realm, and he's not a bad run defender either. But he got 7 missed tackles on the year, and a guy that's going to be that, he's going to be a solid edge rusher. He's probably going to test really well too. He's 6'3", 240, somewhere around that range. And he plays on the edge, plays off ball, plays a variety of positions too. And I like him a lot. I think you can play him in many different areas. And again, has been really good. He hasn't gotten to that day 1, like you're a lock at day 1, or you're potentially going to be a day 1. I like him at that early day 2 type of range.
Yeah, one of the reasons we like to do what I call way too early rankings, it gives you an idea of the depth of the class, right? And so you're going to see as we're building out here, not being in day 1 range certainly is not a knock. It's a deep edge class here. And that does include Damon Wilson out of Texas, 21 hurries, 5 sacks. PFF has him graded 35th overall in rush defense this season. That's a pretty good spot to be in, at least from the analytical side.
Yeah, and he's a solid pass rusher too. I mean, just talking about, the different types of edge rushers, like this is another, Missouri's got a pair of decent edge rushers that I like a lot. But, similar to Joshua Josephs, he's 6'3", 245, 250, somewhere around there, and does a lot of things extremely well. He's someone that shot up my board. I wasn't a huge fan of him coming into the year. So I like when a guy kind of pops off a little bit and goes from that, late day 2, early day 3 range and bumps up to that early day 2, maybe he goes day 1 type of thing. So I like Damon Wilson a lot. We might talk about another Missouri edge rusher here too, but Damon Wilson, definitely a solid prospect.
Yeah, let's get into Romello height. And I should say, folks, we love the interaction here. If you have, you're thinking we're too high, too low on guys, if we don't hit in our 28 guys, if we don't hit somebody you want to hear about, drop us a comment. We love that back and forth. And like we mentioned, this is brand new content here. So you have to let us know if you like it. Drop us a comment so we can keep putting it out and feel good about it. But next up here is Romello height. This is a guy I've really enjoyed watching this season, Zach. I mean, I didn't expect the type of production that he's had, but 5 sacks, 28 hurries. And, Texas Tech spent that money well this offseason.
Yeah, Texas Tech, another team that has 2 very good edge rushers, and they also have a very good defensive tackle. I dropped defensive tackle rankings this week too, so if you want to check those out as well. But I think measurables is going to be huge for Romello height. I have him listed just over 6'2", around that 240 range. So his size isn't going to be, I don't think it's going to be great. I want to see his arm length as well. That's going to be a huge indicator because his production has been there. I mean, you mentioned the sacks they're there, and he's making tackles. There's a lot of good in Romello Height's game, and he's someone that I like in that as a 3-4 off ball type of guy. So watch out for him. He might jump in my rankings. I do expect when I go back and finish the Texas Tech film that both those guys are going to be up there. But definitely a fun guy to watch. I like him a lot, and there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, and somebody here who I think there's a wide range here on opinions of Dani-Dennis. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts, not only on, his evaluation, but where you could see him fitting into an NFL defense.
Yeah, we'll talk about a couple of the guys that got ahead of him, but the reasons why too. This is a guy who I like as a 4-3 D end. There's a lot of potential in his game. I think he's a good run stopper. I think he's a good pass rusher. There's a lot of good things he does well. I just wouldn't say they're great. I would say pass rush is up there, but I think there's kind of a little bit left to be desired in his game. I really liked him coming into the year. I still like him now. I just don't have him at that day 1 range yet, but there's potential. Again, like we still got some work to do, got a lot of time, but he's going to be someone I have a close eye on for sure.
That's an interesting point. So when you're scouting the edge position, and this could carry out to other positions as well, but where do you rate having that one elite trait that could carry your game versus a well-rounded, balanced approach? Would you rather have that prospect that you can really lean into that one thing they do very well?
Well, college football, it's all about development, right? Like when you get drafted in that first round range, let's say like top 20 and above, you have that elite trait that you're better than everyone else at. And the NFL thinks you're solid at, everything else. So it's one of those things where he doesn't have that elite trait and it's still being worked on, right? Like he's developed into a very good prospect so far, but I wouldn't say it's that next echelon of edge rushers. So it's a question of how much more can we develop him? We don't want to sit there and try to develop him at the NFL level. We want him to come in developed at a high level with, everything, but something that's above and beyond. And I don't think he's quite there yet. But again, it depends on what type of edge rusher you're looking for. I mean, we've seen a lot of, quote unquote, high potential guys go earlier than expected. And guys that have, balanced traits go maybe that day 2 type of range.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our possible day 1 guys. So these aren't our locks, but feel good about them. Starting here with Zion Young, the second Missouri edge. I mislabeled his teammate Damon Wilson earlier. I think I said Texas. Both Damon Wilson and Zion Young are at Mizzou. And these two together, man, they were giving Mizzou a real shot early on in the season, and they've fallen off, but not because of them.
No, it's definitely not because of them. I mean, when you talk about, well-balanced players, like this is a well-balanced player this year. Again, like I talked about with his teammate, Zion Young, I wasn't like the biggest fan of. They were both like, Zion Young I had rated higher, late day 2 type of guy, but now like he might be a guy that's going to be jumping into the end of round 1 type of thing. If you need a guy like him, you want to talk about, size 6'5", 265. I think he's going to run pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs at like, the low 4.6s type of thing. And I think that's going to be pretty solid for a guy like him. And production's been solid. He's a great run. He's a really good run defender. He's a really good pass rusher, just all around very balanced. And this is a guy, if a team really likes him, I wouldn't be surprised if they grab him at the end of round 1.
All right. Derrick Moore, 6'3", 260. So we got some good size there on him. How do you see him fitting into an NFL defense?
Yeah, and I don't think that he's going to measure in at 6'3". I think he's probably going to come just under 6'3", which means size isn't going to be a strong suit, but it's the production. You see what does he have? 9 sacks this year.
Yeah, 14 hurries.
Yeah, so he's putting up some pretty solid numbers at Michigan, and so this is what I also look at. You also look at playing time as well. How much is he getting playing time in a very good conference, right? There's a couple other Michigan guys that are here that are getting, between like, I think it's like 20 and 25 snaps a game type of thing. This is a guy that's in there for many snaps. Like he's, what do I got him at right now? He's got 320 snaps on the year through 9 games. So he's putting up stats while he's on the field, and he's on the field more than the other prospects that are out there. And he's, put up numbers. I like that out of him. Again, nothing elite, but it's good.
Well, speaking of numbers, man, David Bailey out of Texas Tech, 12 sacks, 33 hurries. PFF has him graded 3rd highest in rush defense if you're into that sort of thing. Oh, man, this is a fun one.
He's a blast, man. Honestly, I like him a lot. The reason why he's not higher is there's some contradicting numbers on his measurements. Like just like Derrick Moore, right? Like I'm not a fan of his measurements, but he's putting up production. Talk about production. I'm not a huge fan of like what I'm going to potentially see out of his numbers when we get those. But a very, very good player overall. When we talk about the next guys after him, there's a reason, I like them a little bit more. And it's because I see, the intangibles, you can't teach size. You can't teach speed. You could teach speed, but you can't teach like these guys are already putting up a lot of good numbers here. It's just the size, right? Like he's a very good run defender. He's a very good pass rusher. 12 sacks on the year. How many pressures does he have? Do you got that number?
I got 33 hurries. Yeah. Let me see if I could pull up his pressure rate here.
Because if I remember right, the dude's put up like a crazy amount of pressure numbers.
Yeah. I don't have it off the top.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, we'll see this afterwards. And
we'll get the producers on that. Get the
producers on that. But yeah, very solid player. I'm going to have questions about his measurables when we come into this. But if he passes all that, like you talk about having that elite category there, like he's right on the fringe.
All right, well, let's go ahead. Let's get into our day 1 locks. These are guaranteed. All right, almost guaranteed here. And we're going to start with the Texas A&M edge, Cashius Howell, also having himself quite a season here.
Yeah, a really good year, and you look at his sacks, I think he's got 10, but he doesn't miss tackles either. Like he's a sure-handed guy. He's someone that if you get in his radius, he's going to make the tackle. He's very strong, very quick, very powerful. I like Cashius Howell too, and I know everyone saw that clip of him against LSU. He just has that dog mentality. I mean, I knew that coming into the year. This is a guy who I've liked a lot for a while, and he just continued to climb the board. I think I had him as a top 12 guy coming into the year. Again, when you are talking about edge rushers, like you could have 40 that are going to be draftable, but they're different types of players, right? There's different types of guys, and he's a different breed. And when it comes to the mentality, dude, he's just got it. Like I like Cashius Howell a lot. This is a guy I'm going to be pounding the table for. He's going to be a top 5 guy for me. I don't see him getting outside the top 5
overall.
What's that?
Top 5 at the position or overall?
Top 5 of the position. Top 5 of the position. Yep. And it's going to be I'm not going to say he's a lock for round 1, but this is a guy who I don't see how he gets out of round 1 unless something happens.
All right. Well, next up here, we have TJ Parker out of Clemson. Clemson has obviously not had the season that you would have wanted if you're a Tigers fan. TJ Parker, I mean, he was a consensus top 5, top 10 pick going into the season. Are you still there with him, or do you think he's a little bit more in the teens, late first round?
See, it's always difficult because I'm not going to have 32 first round grades. It's
Right.
probably going to be around that 15. So I do still see him around that 15 range, and I could see him getting a little bit higher because overall he still hasn't been bad. Like he really doesn't miss tackles. I know he's only got 2 sacks on the year, so it's not great. It's not the greatest year out of him, but I also don't like absolutely hate it. The whole Clemson team hasn't been great. He's still been good against the run, still been a decent pass rusher. Take away the team aspect of it and you just break down what he's done. Cause that's when I'm watching film, I don't know what happened. Like I'm just watching him, like I'm focused on him. Whatever he's doing at that point in time is the only thing I'm worried about. So when I break down play by play, I still really like TJ Parker. I still like him as a guy who's going to be a very solid 43 DN for you, and someone that's going to, be a productive guy because you've seen it, year after year these last 2 years. Like it's still not bad,
Right.
but it's not great. It's not great either.
Talk to me about Keldric Faulk. This is a player that's really, really interesting to me in terms of, where is his ceiling in the draft conversation?
I mean, the ceiling is, top 3, honestly.
Okay,
Like
all right.
there's a lot of potential in his game. And you don't see guys that are, what do I got to list that 6'5", 285. He might run in the low 4.6s. Like he moves really well. I like guys that have some versatility to him. Like last year he had 215 snaps as, head up on the tackle and 307 outside the tackle. And so he's doing the same thing this year. And he's still putting up decent numbers and being productive. Like there's a lot to like about him. I know people are going to talk about him being kind of a tweener. Like, is he going to be, someone who puts on weight and kicks inside? Play him like Auburn's playing him. Like it's working for him, and he's a bright spot on that team as well. Just like TJ Parker. It's not, the numbers aren't phenomenal, but it's still like when you watch him, there's all that potential. There's all those traits. It's a lot to like.
All right. Well, we got one more guy, and no, we're not snubbing him. Rueben Bain. He's in the day one locks conversation here. I mean, could he be the first overall pick? Is that a realistic conversation to be having at this point?
I mean, I think it's a realistic conversation because, again, you talk about reliability. I mean, he's not a guy who misses a ton of tackles. He's not, someone who takes plays off. He's not a one-trick pony type of guy. I like him as a pass rusher. I should say this. I love him as a pass rusher. I love him as a run stopper. And I just like him as someone that's going to push the pocket and cause problems back there. And that's what he does. If he's not getting to the quarterback or if he's not getting to the running back, he's causing problems and he's opening up running lanes for his teammates. So there's a ton to like with Rueben Bain, a guy who I don't see getting out of the first round. And if he does, again, like I'm going to be completely shocked. I can't put a lock on anything because everything can happen. Yeah. But there's a lot to like here.
Almost a lock. Yeah, it's a quarterback. It's a quarterback class that doesn't have an obvious 101, right? An offensive tackle class, and we'll get to it, doesn't have an obvious 101. So, that does leave the edge position as a priority, right, towards the top of the draft. All right, so Zach, those are our top 3 tiers here. And with our final 2 tiers, I'm going to load in the players here, and I'm going to ask you to kind of highlight 1 or 2 guys in this tier. So let's start here with our liked but did not love tier. You have R. Mason Thomas here. You have Ethan Burke. You have Quincy Rhodes. Who's jumping out to you as I kind of build out this tier here? Caden Curry out of Ohio State.
I think some would be surprised that I have Caden Curry a little lower. Again, it's another guy who, I did like him watching him. Obviously there's a lot of talent on that Ohio State defense. And again, I want to preface this with I did like him. I did like what I saw on film, but when you look at the guys ahead of him that we kind of went through, I liked him a lot more and I saw more potential. He's a good all-around player, a good pass rusher, a good run defender. He's, putting up 7 sacks on the year, but again, production is not everything. It's how loose are your hips? Do you work your hands really well? Do you have a secondary pass rush? Can you stop the run? What do you do when on a zone read? Are you wrong arming a tackle and surfing down the line? Or are you kind of rushing in? Like there's all those different traits that you got to take into consideration. Like 7 sacks is cool. But if you're not going to do that, all the other stuff, like what are you doing? You know, so again, liked him. I just don't see him as a possible first round guy yet. I still got a lot of work to do. So there's potential for him to move up and down, and when you get different numbers and whatnot, things might change.
Yeah, and just to clarify, just because a guy's not, even if he doesn't have a day 2 grade at this point, you're not dogging him, right? Like,
I also have him listed at just over 6'1", 260. Like those aren't really numbers of a first round guy. So like that's not gonna nail him down, but we got to see the numbers when we get to the Senior Bowl and the combine and everything else. So those play a factor too.
Yeah, and again, a full breakdown of everybody in this tier, everybody in the sleepers tier in Zach's article. The link again in the episode description. Zach, before we wrap it up here, give me one more guy. I want to hear somebody out of the sleepers tier that you're really excited about. Before you do that, just want to remind folks, drop a comment. If you learned even one thing from this video, new about this 2026 Edge group, give the video a like. And we want to have that discourse here in the comments. So make sure to do that. Zach, take us away, man. Who's the sleeper you want to wrap up on?
Okay. AJ Pena out of Rhode Island is a very, very solid player.
Close to me. I like it.
Dude, this guy, so I was told about him a few weeks ago, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go look at him. Like, not a lot of times people come to me and say, hey, go watch this Rhode Island prospect. So I'm like, I gotta
Penn, baby, come on.
Yeah, I got to check him out. I have to, right? So I did some research on him, like, because you're going to ask me, why is he not playing at a higher school? Because I believe he's a senior. Like all the transfers that happen, why isn't AJ Pena transferring and going to play for a team like Memphis? Well, he did transfer. I think it was Memphis. I believe it was Memphis. Anyway, he transfers to Memphis, and he just. I read an article, did some reflection, didn't want to be at Memphis. He wanted to go back to Rhode Island and be a leader there, which is what he's doing, man. He's putting up 7 sacks, been really good as an all-around tackler, run stopper, pass rusher. There's just a lot to like with him, and no one's talking about him yet. And it's going to come down to, does he get that combine invite? Does he get an all-star game invite? Are his measurables going to pan out? Because he's, not the biggest guy. I got him just over 6'1.5", 243. Plays outside linebacker type of role, type of edge rusher. There's a lot to like about him. I'm excited to see how everything plays out for him. But I'm not saying day 2, but I'm saying like mid to late day 3, sleeper, draft pick type of guy. So AJ Pena, let's keep an eye out for him.
All right. That is some in-depth scoop there. It was Memphis, by the way. Just double-checked that, verified that on the back end there. There you have it. Our 28 edges here are way too early, 2026 NFL draft rankings. Again, you have to let us know if you enjoy the video, and feel free to suggest the next position group if you want to try to influence which one we get up to next. Zach, I appreciate it. Again, Prep Draft Pro, his Substack, link in the episode description. And of course, all those resources, fantasy football and NFL draft, over at patreon.com/rookiebigboard. And Zach, and until we are back at it next time, man, let's get back into that film.